All right. Well, oh, I love that it calls that meeting in progress at the top of it. Just totally caught me off guard. Okay, guys, welcome to our call today. We are going to be talking about habits again and the habit of accountability. So I appreciate all you guys that are doing the habit challenge because you are part of why we have the habit challenge is for the accountability of having other people doing this with us. And so when it comes to forming new habits, having somebody to help keep you accountable is key. And welcome, Jess. And that can be somebody that is in your own house. That can be somebody that is a coach. That can be somebody that is outside of your house, maybe a family member or a really good friend. So accountability, how do we actually go and find an accountability partner? And why do we need that accountability? Well, most of the time, if I, for example, I'm giving myself as an example, but this is true across the board for pretty much the general population. If I say, okay, I'm going to stop drinking coffee because I really need to cut down my caffeine, and I don't tell anybody about it, it's very, very likely that when my husband has a cup of coffee, he will pour a cup of coffee. I will smell the coffee and I will say, oh, I want a cup of coffee. I never told him I was trying to cut out coffee. He never thought twice about pouring me a cup of coffee too. But if I tell him, hey, I'm trying to cut out coffee, I'm holding myself accountable and he's holding myself accountable, and he will probably remember, oh, Tamara's not drinking coffee right now. Tamara, are you sure you want this cup of coffee? I thought you were trying to cut back on your caffeine intake. By telling other people about what it is we're doing, it really holds us accountable. And I share that example because this is actually true for me. So I work at Crackings, a really great breakfast spot, twice a week, and we make really great cold brew coffee. I'm about to do the 3-day refresh. I realize that I've been drinking my Energize in the morning, and then around 9 o'clock, I drink a cup of coffee, normally cold brew coffee from there, and I get to work. And so I realized, I'm like, oh, you weren't needing these 2 cups of coffee or this cup of Energize and this cup of coffee earlier in your week. And next week, when you're doing the 3-day refresh, you don't have caffeine. You cut caffeine out. You need to cut back on your caffeine. I'm not ready to cut back on Energize, but I was like, I can cut back that coffee. So I actually was at work and I was like, man, a couple of my coworkers, they had their cold brew and I was like, yeah, I want a cold brew too. And then I was like, hold up. And I looked at my friend Jenna and I said, hey, I'm trying really hard not to have any coffee. I really want some. I'm letting you know I'm not going to drink any coffee, because if I let you know, I know that you'll hold me accountable to it, because I know that you'll see me do it and you'll say, are you supposed to be drinking coffee? So it really works. And it really worked. And I never even poured myself a cup of coffee. Never when I was making anybody's, I didn't give myself a little extra on the side, nothing. It was just one of those things and honest, if I'm being honest, I didn't offer coffee to people as much today because I was like, I can't be around coffee. So it just was one of those things that I intentionally told a few people. Now I'm telling you, I'm not going to be drinking coffee until after not the ultimate reset. I'm not doing that one yet, until after the 3-day refresh, because I really want to try to wean off of some of my caffeine that I'm addicted to currently. And part of it is I really do love the flavor, but I think other part of it is I'm addicted to that little quick rush of caffeine from Energize for sure. And then to the rush of coffee, just because I love sipping my coffee while I'm working. But I'm going to switch to Bevy. So this is why we have accountability groups. This is why we have the Beachbody On Demand group. This is why when you have joined in with any Beachbody thing, I'm always like, hey, I have invited you to the BOD group. I would love for you to start doing your check-ins in there. Because if you don't, I'll just go ahead and say it makes it really hard on me to know if you're doing your workout or not, to know if you're doing your Shakeology or not, to know if you're eating any of the food or not, if I don't see you sharing in there. If now some people are sharing on their Instagram stories and tagging me, but not everybody is doing that. So, Jessica just said, I meant to tell you, Cody and I are accountability buddies, but we haven't done much yet, but we are trying to set goals and things. That's awesome. Ow, that's awesome. Sorry. I just, my finger, if you guys, depending on when you're watching the recording, my finger is still really messed up and I just bonked it. But having somebody that is there to ask me. So I've gone through a few accountability partners in work, and we will touch base with each other once a month, and we will ask each other how we are doing with our work goals. And so it's very similar in that sense of just having somebody hold me accountable. I will write down what Anita had told me she was going to accomplish for the month. And I'll ask her, where are we at with that? How is that going? Did you hit that? Have you not hit that? Why are we not hitting that? So by having the accountability of somebody, one, that you're privately checking in on, or two, or, doing a combination of the two, that you are doing this in the group together. Maybe if you're, for example, if Jessica and Cody are accountability buddies, and they say that their goal is to, work out 5 days a week, which I think that they're going to be setting goals outside of working out, but let's just say that's just one of their goals. Maybe they're one or the other, or both are struggling with it. And they know that they have to tag each other when they put their post into the group. That's going to keep them both more accountable to doing that. I stay extremely accountable to trying to share my workout and my Shakeology and my food, because I am a coach. And so that helps me stay really accountable. I wouldn't probably share all of the things that I share if it wasn't for the fact that I'm a coach and other people need to see the example and I have to hold myself accountable. I definitely would not be doing workouts still to this day, in the same sense. Like right now, my hand injury, I would not have been like, oh, well, I'll just go and do bar blend. Like if I wasn't a coach and I wasn't associated with Beachbody, I probably wouldn't have done that. And I probably would have sat on my ass and I would have been a little bit sad. And I would have probably just gotten in a little bit more of a depressive mode and just said, I can't work out anymore. I can't go to my yoga classes, my hot yoga classes that I like. So do you really like those? Because I literally can't do down dog, because I literally can't do any of the balance moves with my hands, because I just can't do that. I can't go to the sculpt studio that I also like, where I do a sweaty hot, like weightlifting / yoga thing, because again, I can't lift the weights and I don't want to be the only person in there not lifting the weights, because I just have that pride in me. I wouldn't have been, if I was solely reliant on some of those outside things that I do like to do outside of Beachbody, I'd be screwed. I right now, there's this thing, it's called Red Tide here in Santa Rosa Beach. So right on the beach, it's actually caused by pollutants that are getting into the water, such as, what's that stuff that you sprayed? Roundup. That's just like, literally, it's so bad that you go out to the beach and it's red and the water's red. And it's like, all you do is cough. And you can't cough right now because everybody's looking at you like, you got COVID? And they're like, oh my gosh, I'm just coughing because it's stupid red tide, but I can't even sit out here because, one, it's not pretty. Two, it's making me cough. So I couldn't even, because I live so close to the ocean, couldn't even go on a run on 38 right now without feeling the residual side effects of that. So I am so grateful that I am a coach and that I stayed accountable to my own fitness and nutrition and didn't say, well, I can't do my yoga studio and I can't do the sculpt studio and I can't go running because of all the weather and all that red tide stuff. So I guess I can't do anything that I know how to do. But because I've tried these programs and because I have a whole community of people right now that are doing their own workouts and posting and sharing and looking for the coach that got them started to still stay accountable to her stuff that she said that she was doing to encourage them to do the same thing, I figured it out. I figured out that I could still do bar blend. I can sometimes lift the 1 pound weights. I sometimes cannot. And that's I'm not being facetious with this. I don't have grip strength. My finger doesn't move around. That's where it goes. So that's one of those things. I figured it out because I had the accountability of the fact that, one, I was a coach. Two, because I am a coach, I've asked so many people to join with me and to do this with me that I don't want to let them down. And I don't want to be that person that's like, I'm not going to do the workouts, when technically I could. Now, of course, if you're injured, if I was injured worse than this, yeah, I would definitely just say I'm going to be focusing on nutrition. But I would still be focused on my goals. I would still be focused on my health goals, just in a different way, mostly through nutrition. So I share this to say that it's only because of the accountability of being a coach, only because of the accountability of having people that I've said, hey, join me in this, that I am there. So if you aren't on that coach side, you can still look at this from the accountability side of, okay, I told my coach that I would do this with her. Okay, I asked, my mom to do the workouts with me while she's at home. And I told my husband I was going to spend 30 minutes in the morning before the kids woke up. And if they wake up while I'm doing this and he's, just laying in bed, it would be awesome if he took care of them for a hot minute while I finished my workout. Because I said that doing these workouts was important to me, because I told these people then I'm going to show up more than if I had never told a single soul. Then if I just said, you know what, I'm going to buy these DVDs because like I'm gonna go on Amazon or eBay and find like some old school P90X, and I'm gonna try to do that. And I'm not gonna tell anybody about it. We're just gonna kind of like, not wait until my husband and the kids are at school, and then I'm gonna do it. And I can do this all on my own. Most of the time, most people are not that self-motivated, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with you if you tried and didn't succeed. When Neil and I first did P90X, he was the only person that knew I was doing P90X. We made it to the last week and a half, probably last 2 weeks, and I quit. I didn't have anybody but Neil to hold me accountable. And that wasn't enough for me at that time. I bet if I had my coach, Michelle, and she was like, what week are you on? And I'd be like, oh man, I got 2.5 weeks left or a week and a half left. And I just don't want to do it anymore. Like, I'm just done. I'm done. I'm done. I am positive that she would have talked to me and would have said, okay, tell me, why do we feel this way? What's telling you that you're done? Like, why are we looking at it like this? And she would have started to hold me accountable and said, well, why did you start this in the first place? To get in shape for my wedding at that time. Okay, well, are you feeling like you're already in shape for your wedding? Are you feeling like you've already accomplished everything that you could accomplish? Or are you feeling like, wow, what would it feel like to actually follow through and accomplish something? I'd be like, I would like to actually follow through and accomplish something, but like, this is really freaking hard and I'm tired of it. So she would have talked me through that and been able to probably talk me into doing the full program because she would be holding me accountable. So that's really like the gist of accountability is you don't have to go and tell everybody, what it is you're doing. Whether that's fitness and nutrition, or maybe you've got a goal maybe you want to write a book. I'm just using this as an example. And you have got a goal to write for 30 minutes a day. Like, that's just what you're going to do. You're just going to write whatever comes to you for 30 minutes a day. Well, I highly recommend getting a group of people, preferably other writers, that are doing something similar around you so that you are holding yourself accountable and you have them, and that you do some sort of accountability check. And that's why we did this habit tracker. That's why I was asking you guys to share in the group and to tag each other on social media. And I'll be honest, it doesn't always work. Like, not everybody's going to do it. Not everybody's going to tag people on social media. Not everybody's going to post in the group and share their tracker. And, we're just not going to do that, because we're just developing the habit of just starting with one small thing. So maybe doing the nutrition was just enough, which was the Shakeology, or tracking the workouts was just enough. Or maybe one of the pieces that we asked, the personal development, maybe you just could only do that. You couldn't get to your workouts every week because you were injured like me, or maybe you're worse injured. I have a girl that we're working with right now who like hurt her tailbone really bad. She can't do a workout. Like, there's no workout that I'm recommending for her right now, other than if she has a pool that she is at, like the YMCA, and they're teaching classes, she could possibly do that because of like the impact. But she can't do a Beachbody workout, but she can sure use her Shakeology every day. She can sure do this 3-day refresh challenge with me every day, or every time that I do it. So that's how I'm holding her accountable. So we switched because she told me what was going on, because I hadn't seen her checking in, and she switched to just using her shakes. And I was like, hold up, we need to be more focused in on nutrition than ever before, because I'm holding you accountable to that. So that's the other thing. Don't always, when you've got accountability, I would highly recommend starting to just be that person that reaches out first. So if you are struggling, don't be afraid to tell somebody that you're struggling. Don't be afraid to tell your coach. Don't be afraid to tell your accountability buddy. If they start judging you or getting frustrated, then that's not the accountability buddy for you. That means that it's time to go find somebody else. But for the most part, they're going to hold you accountable. They're going to talk you through this, and they're going to hopefully dig deeper into, well, why do you even want this? Like, why was this workout so important to you? I know that you're injured, you can't do it anymore, but what else? Like, why were you doing it in the first place? Well, for me, I was doing 645 so I could be mobile, and I wanted to get muscles back in my abs. And I was just excited about that. I was just excited to tone up. Couldn't do the program. Couldn't do it. I can't even pick up a 10-pound weight. So there's no way that I could have done that program. I told you I can barely pick up a 1-pound weight. So it's just one of those things. But because I had accountability, I said, you know what? I can still lose the weight around my core. That is honestly all nutrition. I know that about my body. For me, where I'm at, it's nutrition. I'm going to have to do a 3-day refresh just to like hone it back in and to see some abs for a hot minute so that I can see what it looks like and feel like to have my abs again. And the rest of my body has stayed pretty toned because I've been doing Barre Blend. So I didn't give up on my goals. I stayed accountable to them because I had the accountability of the community around me. And I just had to pivot. I just had to pivot. So that's all I've really got on accountability. It's just truly get connected, stay connected with, an accountability partner and in the community. And if you are, the thing is, as I'll just share this as a coach, I try my best. Like if you're watching the recording, you're like, man, I actually haven't gotten a private message from Tamara in a really long time. I really do try my best, but there are times that I accidentally click clear on the date of follow-up on somebody's name, because I do have all of your all's names in a system, and I do follow up with everybody, whether you've purchased, not purchased, joined in as a coach. Like I have everybody's names in there, but there have been times that I'm like, oh snap, I haven't talked to so-and-so in a month and a half. Oh shoot, where are they? I haven't seen them check into the group. And I don't even know if they're still like using their Shakeology anymore. Like, oh shoot, how did that happen? I look for their name and I'm like, how did their name get cleared and how is there no date on there? It's user error. So I, as a coach, I'm just telling you very humbly, if you don't hear from me and you're like, dude, Tamara forgot about me. Tamara didn't necessarily forget about you. Tamara's just connecting with so many people that she fucked up and she's really sorry. And to reach out to me, because I really will do my best to give answers and to give solutions. And if you post in the group, this is why I have the group. If you post it in the group, I will answer it. I will eventually see it. I might not see it that day or the next day because sometimes the group gets so busy, but I will see it that week. And if I don't see it and you don't see an answer from me, just send me a message. I'm definitely there. So I just wanted to put that out there to anybody that is watching the recording and is like, yeah, but like, I haven't seen you. I haven't heard from you privately. It's my fault, more than likely. Or I just haven't gotten in through all the messages in the group. So that's all I got. Jessica, did you want to add anything, ask anything? I know you were typing in the chat and got your video off. Probably not. Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys. And I really, really, really do love when I see y'all post in the group, when I see y'all ask questions in the group, when I see others answering each other's questions. And again, when you dive into the group, whether it's when sometimes we host groups on Facebook, sometimes we host groups on the Beachbody On Demand app. When you dive into it and you actually start tracking, and then you spend 5 minutes or so commenting and connecting with other people, I am telling you, the accountability level you have just rises like crazy. It will make you press play on your workout more consistently. It will keep you in track with your nutrition more consistently, and it will just up level your experience. Now, if you start to become a coach with the community, that's a different ball game where once you have your own people that you are helping and that they are showing up in your group, then that just ups your accountability like crazy. Like, again, I told y'all, had I not had these groups already there, I would have quit. I'd probably be about, 10, 15 pounds heavier than I am now. I probably wouldn't care as much about what I eat and how much I drink, but because I have people that are looking up to me, like even my kids, that's not enough for me. Like some people, their kids are their motivation enough. It's not enough for me. Now, looking good and feeling good during sexy time with Neil, that is like a big motivator for me, because like I don't like to not feel comfortable when I'm naked. So I really do think that there are some other internal things and some other in-home things that can help you. But if you really want that true accountability, and when it comes to your fitness and nutrition, then doing what you can do in the groups is truly like, that's the best thing that I can give, and the best way that I can help people. So that's what I've got. And I love you guys. And I'm actually probably going to go check into the groups here soon before the kids get home, because I haven't gotten to do that in the next couple of days. So, all right, Jess, you out? Or did you have a question? Okay. Yeah. All right. Bye, guys.